And welcome to another Cardinals Nest here on HBC TV 25. This is the show devoted to St. Mary's University and its athletic programs. And this is actually the last show of 2017 and 2018. So welcome, glad you could join us. I'm Dean Beckman. Our sports information director is Donnie Netto, and Niels Anderson is our head coach for track and field. And Donnie, we've already had Niels on the program not too long ago, but that was before they headed out west for their big spring trip to San Diego, of all places. So you can see now Niels is a little more tan,
got a little bit,
a little more color to him now. And so
well, I think the funniest part is that they come back from California and then they battled through 2 snowstorms, and I think they lost all their tan. And I think Coach Anderson lost a little hair because he didn't have any meets to go to.
Right.
It's been a really crazy spring, and as you mentioned, this being our last show, it's kind of hard to believe that we're winding up another school year. It's we tell the students how fast their time goes here, but it's amazing how quickly these school years are going.
And Donnie and Niels, I should maybe mention too, it's probably a good thing this is our last show. Later on, we're going to have Maria Missurelli, our pole vaulter, on the show. So we're going to set the bar pretty high for the Cardinals Nest. And so it's probably best that this is the last show of the year. So, but Maria's time will come a little bit later. Niels, right now we have you. So since you've last been on the program, kind of give us an update on the season here.
Well, I think we covered a little bit of it. For the first time in program history, we went out to California, made the big trip, and it was an amazing experience. We had basically 14 top 5 all-time performances, so we were ready to have a good day. I was a little worried about if the travel would mess with that at all, and then we came back to snow and misery back home and kept hanging out indoors and kept waiting for the snow to break, and we ended up hosting kind of an impromptu meet just right in the middle of all of that. When we had a decent day, we said, everybody come on down, and ended up being a huge invitational.
That was on a Thursday.
And that was on a Thursday. Yeah. You got to play the season that's given to you.
What you have to do.
I know baseball and softball are in the worst dire straits of trying to pack an entire season into just a couple weeks. Track meets you don't reschedule necessarily, you just kind of live with the cancellation. But even in the midst of all of that, our training's been really solid, and I think that as long as the weather kind of does what it's predicted to do in the next couple weeks, I think all those good times, good performances, school records, top 5 all times are all coming our way.
Coach, are you a little bit farther behind this year in terms of, because of the weather? You're heading into the big SMU Open this weekend. Weather's supposed to be great, so that's a good thing. But probably don't have as many conference qualifying times and distances as you usually do at this time of the year.
Right, and the whole conference is dealing with that issue, obviously. So there's been a lot of talk in between the coaches on what we're going to do. In fact, if some of the schools can't get all the meets in that they need, are we going to be able to use indoor qualifying standards for some of the races that are both indoor and outdoor? That's one of the conversations that's happening right now. As long as we get this weekend in and next weekend, for us it's a little tricky because we have finals next week starting already. So getting those meets in for us schedule-wise is a little tricky, but I think we're going to be okay. You're exactly right, though. I think if you look at the performance list across the nation, the teams that are doing really well didn't have to deal with all this weather, and everyone else is kind of trying to play catch-up right now.
I'd be curious to know, I think, for the viewers, how do some of those conversations take place? Do you have a conference call with the coaches? Do the athletic directors get involved? What's that process like?
Well, right now, it's pretty much a giant string of emails that are going back and forth. Everybody says, yes, I agree with this. No, I don't agree with that idea. And it's a big, giant brainstorm that's happening. Concordia up in Moorhead, they finally got their first meet in last week.
Sure.
We went out to California. That ends up being a really important piece for us because we had all these really good performances, and those are going to be probably what we bring to the conference meet for as far as our performance list on a lot of them until we get another 75-degree day where those performances can drop the way we need them to.
And really, wasn't that one of the reasons that you scheduled the trip? I mean, obviously it's great to get your team to go to California as a group, but it gives you that perfect weather early in an outdoor season. So that's kind of one
that's 100% why we did. I mean, okay, I don't want to say it's 100% why we did it. Going to California is pretty nice. There's other reasons, and it's a great program builder just in general. But really it was to say, you know, early spring, you don't know what you're going to get. I didn't know how true that was going to be this year. I've never seen anything like this. Every coach I've spoken to has never, including baseball, softball, any of the coaches, they've never seen an entire string of days just get wiped out through all this snow that we've had, and just kind of a lot of bad luck. But
well, and you were getting meets canceled on a Monday for that
Exactly
Saturday,
right,
so
yeah.
It really hasn't been. I mean, it's just been terrible all the way around.
It's been terrible. That's the right word. But we have a great indoor facility, so we've been able to kind of get through the worst of it by being able to maintain our training, and then. Obviously, all we need is, I think this weekend's going to actually be a really, really important weekend for us. We need it to be, we're setting all kinds of records and top 5 performances, but they need to just take that next step on a lot of cases.
You know, in that whole string of emails, maybe you should suggest that the next track event be snowshoeing.
We might as well. I think there's still some snow up in the bluffs.
Right.
Yeah, right.
So, but let's talk about this weekend a little bit more. Let's dive deeper into that. It's the big St. Mary's University Open. So how many teams are coming? Who are some of them? And what do you specifically need to see to get your team and some individuals where they need to be?
Exactly. So this weekend is the St. Mary's Open, and we have 15 men's and women's teams, so 30 teams technically. It's one of the largest meets in the Midwest for sure. The Drake Relays, it's considered the Drake Relays alternative. So the very top 2% of the athletes are down at Drake, and everybody else comes to us. And so we have all of the other side of the river, the UW Eau Claire, UW Stout, UW La Crosse, Viterbo, a lot of teams that are just in this area, Luther College, those types.
Sure.
So, but it's a lot of teams. And as far as what we need from this weekend, it's going to be a beautiful day. We need, in a lot of instances, we need people to really set new standards for themselves. I think we can. Just in everything I've seen in practice, I know what we're about to do. Just need those opportunities to do it. And that's men, women, field events, track events. It's really an important weekend for us.
You know, you talked about being able to train indoors, you know, because of the weather outdoors. But is that comparable? I mean, how do you really kind of look at? Yes, you're training, but it's so different indoors to outdoors.
Yeah. By the time outdoor season has started, if you have to train indoors anymore, you feel stuck in there. And that's every team in the United States that has to go inside for a day when they want to be training outside. You know, those tight corners, they add up and they cause some injuries of the, you know, repetitive nature. And so when you get, as soon as you get outside, those shin splints go away. You can work straightaways that you used to be running curves on. You're not dodging all of the activity that's happening inside the rack inside, if you know what I mean. You're not playing dodgeball with the baseball team. And so, you know, it's just a better environment. People get really excited on nice days. We get the music going outside, and there's just a great atmosphere, and the energy lifts. You get a little bit of that seasonal affective disorder when you stay inside for too long. And so we're just happy that we finally have it, and now we're very appreciative of every nice day, maybe in a way we wouldn't have been. We have probably the most important workout of our year today.
Right.
Yeah.
Coach, can you talk just a little bit before we head to break? Maria's coming on next, and she's sitting over there probably going to get red-faced here. But talk a little bit about Maria and what she's brought to this program. We mentioned off camera, it's hard to believe that she's a senior already, because I remember when she was a freshman and you know, taking pole vaulting by storm, and here she is a senior doing the same thing over and over again.
Well, how many times has she reset the school record in the same event? I don't know. I honestly don't know. I bet 15 times at least. And so obviously as the standard bearer for that event for St. Mary's, she's been, you know, everything that she's been as a leader as well. So just setting the bar higher and higher that you kind of mentioned earlier as a joke. Really, it is true what she's done for our program as a whole. Her leadership, her organization, her personality, her caring. She's basically, I mean, the thing I'm going to miss as far as a track coach in the logistical sense, she's hosted every single woman recruit that I've had on campus overnight for 3 years. That's going to be impossible to replace with one person. I'm going to have to do it by committee from now on. Whereas she's been, yeah, I'll do it. Of course I'll do it. And so one of my mantras in life is see the need, meet the need. And that is, you know, oh, there's a problem that needs to be fixed. Oh, I'll help. I'll be there whenever you need me, whatever the crisis, whatever the situation. She's the first person to show up. And so kind of an impossible person to replace, and again, it'll be a committee of people that need to step into what she's done. It would be like trying to replace LeBron James of a team, and you kind of go, well, we can't do it with one person, we'll have to do it with 3 or 4.
And those overnight stays, they're critically important, right, to recruiting, because that's where the student really gets a feel for the school and a taste for what the team is like and things like that.
We have the best recruiting class in the history of the school coming in next year, and what am I going to do next year when she's gone and she's not doing all of those overnights for me?
Well, you just find out where she lives. And
exactly. That's why she's not allowed to graduate. So if you have any pull in there,
well, we could always flunk her, right?
Well, that's what I'm trying to say.
I suggested that, but I don't have her in class this semester. So Niels Anderson, thanks for being on the program. Good luck this weekend, of course, with the St. Mary's Open, but of course the rest of the year and in the conference championships.
All right. So thanks so much.
All right, stay tuned. Maria Missurelli will join us next here on the Cardinals Nest.
With our partnership with HBC, we were able to now be a smart gigabit community with US Ignite and the National Science Foundation. All their other partners are large metropolitan urban areas, Austin, Texas, San Francisco, Washington, D.C. And because of the broadband connectivity provided by HBC, we are a community lead for this initiative where we're going to be able to bring next-gen technology and stay competitive in the 21st century economy.
Providing opportunities for residential and business customers, HBC is leadership in your community. Elevate your HBC TV experience with the latest technology to hit your whole home entertainment system. Record up to 6 programs simultaneously and save up to 350 hours of your favorite shows. Pause a program you're watching in one room and pick right up where you left off in another. Video on demand, wireless set-top boxes and mobile device streaming, apps including Alexa, Netflix, YouTube, and more. Call 888-474-9995 to learn more or visit hbci.com/elevate today.
And we're back on the Cardinals Nest, where this week we focus on track and field. We just had on Niels Anderson, the head coach for the track and field team. And now we're going to turn to pole vaulter senior Maria Missurelli. And if you thought Joe Seegers smiled a lot on last week's show, you haven't seen anything yet. Maria is a smiler. So just one of the many reasons we wanted to have Maria on.
Yeah,
but
thank you.
Maria, you're a senior. As Coach pointed out in the last segment, you have set pole vault record after pole vault record. You break your own records, right? So that's another significant reason we wanted to have you on the program. But so tell us a little bit about yourself. I know you're from the Milwaukee, Wisconsin area.
Yeah.
You're a public relations major because I'm your advisor, so I know that, of course.
Yep.
But tell our viewers a little bit more about where you're from and then how you got started in track and field and specifically pole vaulting, because it's not a real common sport, is it?
Yeah, no, it's not. So I grew up in Franklin, Wisconsin, which is a suburb of Milwaukee. And I went to St. Thomas More High School. So for about 10 years of my life, I did gymnastics when I was younger. And I didn't do it in high school. My high school actually didn't have a gymnastics team. So it was really my mom that kind of pushed me to try pole vaulting. She kept telling me, like, oh, I've read so many articles that pole vaulters or people that are in gymnastics were really good pole vaulters, and she really wanted me to try it. So I actually didn't start until my sophomore year of high school.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So, but as soon as I started, I fell in love with it.
Yeah.
So.
How'd you end up here? How'd you end up at St. Mary's?
That is 100% due to Niels. Niels recruited me my senior year, and I talked to him a lot on the phone. As you know, he's a big talker. As soon as you get him on the phone, it'll be, it's in about an hour or two that you'll be on the phone. So, but I really liked that about him and what he had to say about the school. And then once I visited, I really liked the team that I met. I liked the facilities. I liked, the professors that I got to meet with. So. Yeah, that's how I got to St. Mary's.
Now you of course heard Niels talk about you. So now we get to flip the tables a little bit. You mentioned Niels
yes.
and the importance he played in recruiting you, which of course makes sense because he's the head coach of track and field. Mm-hmm. But now that you've been here for 4 years and you're not being recruited anymore, what is it about Niels that really stands out to you, and what you'll remember as what makes him a great head coach?
Yeah. So I can just say that. So if you walk into practice, let's say you're having like the worst day ever, you're just not feeling good. Yeah, you're not feeling it. Within 15 minutes of that, Niels will change that. Mm-hmm. Just his high level of energy, like his passion for the sport, just his personality, just talking with him, he will make you start laughing. He'll make you enjoy practice.
Right.
And just his overall commitment to track. He has so much knowledge about every single sport. There's so many different event coaches.
Sure.
There's, we have a throws coach, we have a distance coach, pole vault coach, but just the amount of knowledge he has in every single event is just insane to me, Mm-hmm. So, if I ever, which I have a couple times, I wasn't able to have my coach at a meet, mm-hmm. and Niels has helped coach me, and he's honestly done an excellent job at that. So, but yeah, I could talk to Niels for hours on hours, and it would feel like 10 minutes.
Sure.
So,
okay.
What do you feel has been the biggest adjustment you've had to make, or the biggest advancement that you've made from your freshman year to where you're at now?
I would probably say so when I was in high school, I don't know how much you know about pole vaulting, but I would kind of stay on the same pole. So going to college, I really had to adjust to trying new and different poles, and it can be a little nerve-wracking for me. So I would say, moving up poles can be kind of scary, but definitely over the years, if I look back on poles that I was at freshman year, kind of a joke, so it's just kind of cool to see how much I've progressed in that.
I've got to imagine that pole vaulting is very mental.
Yeah.
First off, you're looking at that bar that is, way up there, and you're relying on this pole mm-hmm. going into a pit, and then you're going to put all of your weight, lean back. There's got to be a lot that goes into it mentally to prepare yourself to do a jump.
Yeah, oh, for sure. And honestly, over the years, I've kind of struggled with that a bit, just kind of mentally preparing myself to, jump to those higher heights. But, really, it is a mental game. You have to be confident in yourself. You have to know what you're doing. You have to trust your coach. You have to trust your step. You can't you can't second guess yourself. You really have to know you're doing it going into it. You have to be confident. And
one thing I've heard you say before is that you don't worry so much about the competition, right? Who do you have to beat when you get there? Because in your mind, you just have to beat yourself, right? So mm-hmm. tell us more about that.
Yeah, for sure. Honestly, my favorite meets have been ones that I've maybe PR'd at and taken 7th or 10th place versus a meet that I've maybe won or taken 2nd place, but not had so high of a height. Mm-hmm. So I really, really just try to focus on how can I improve myself? How can I keep raising the bar? Mm-hmm. I really like the MIAC and the WIAC too. We get to compete with both of them because they both have such a high level of competition that it does push me, and I'm not concerned am I going to beat this girl? It's more how can I improve myself and how can I improve my heights.
You had a great indoor season this year to cap off your senior year indoor. Mm-hmm. What kind of goals do you have as you head into basically the conference championships in 3 weeks? What do you want to see this last conference championships?
Yeah, honestly, I would like to see a couple more PRs. That would be really nice. And I mean, I know I just said I don't care as much about places, but when it does come to the conference meet, a win would be nice. I took second in indoor, so if I could get first place, that would probably be a big goal of mine. But I would say making it to nationals too, that would be a big goal. I've never gone, but I'd like to join Becca on the trip and, see what it's all about. So I think that would be great. That's a good goal for me.
One thing people may be surprised to learn is that you actually have a little bit of a fear of pole vaulting, right? So
Yeah.
for somebody who has set as many records of you, why is that, and then how do you overcome that?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, that kind of goes with, I've kind of struggled with a mental block over the past couple of years, but just kind of, I guess one is keeping up with my faith, because that kind of helps me to have a lot of trust in myself and in God, and that's really helped me over the years. And also the fact of repetition, that's helped me to, if I do it over and over, I gain more confidence in that as well.
Yeah. But it is a dangerous sport, isn't it?
Yeah,
Right?
it is.
If you,
Yep.
if you crash, that can be a serious injury or something.
I think I actually, for your class, did.
You did a paper on that.
I did a paper on it, yeah. There have been.
And I was
actually
thinking, are you sure
a
you want to look
couple-
at all these statistics?
Yeah. Probably scared me more than
Right,
it should
maybe
have, but
so.
yeah.
Dean, talk a little bit about Maria in the classroom.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I know you guys took a nice trip up to the cities last
Right.
week, and talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I think Maria's ability in the classroom is exemplified by the fact that she won a big Public Relations Society of America award in the state of Minnesota, and really it was for all Midwest colleges, where you conducted a series of pole vault clinics, right, last year for the track and field team that was sort of your client, and then you submitted that to an awards competition and ended up taking first place. So tell us a little bit about the clinics that you conducted and what it was like to get that recognition last week at the banquet.
Yeah, it was honestly so much fun. So I got to create a pole vault clinic for high school vaulters, I guess. So we had 3 clinic sessions, and then the 4th one we held a meet for the athletes. So, we got to teach them different drills and how to vault. Some of them were beginners, so I got to kind of go back to the basics and, have to teach them everything from the start. And so that was a lot of fun. And I really got to advertise for the event as well. I got to, post on social media, send out flyers, talk to a lot of the coaches.
Right, a lot of emails.
Yeah, a lot of emails.
So then you kind of packaged all of this, not only for the class, of course, but then
Yep.
also for the competition that you entered last week and took first place.
Yeah.
So your emotions after you won that event?
I honestly didn't believe it at first. When they first called, like, oh, the winner is like the pole vault, I was like, oh, someone else did a pole vault? Oh, wait, that's me.
That's you, yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, I didn't believe it at first, but I'm really thankful for all of your help and everything that...
And we have to close now, but again, Maria is a public relations major. You hope to move back to the Milwaukee area, but what I think is good is that you're very open to what it is you'll do and where you'll work and that kind of thing. So,
Yeah,
so that's
for sure.
great. So Maria Missurelli, thank you for finally, we got you on the Cardinals Nest, so we appreciate
Yep.
it. So. All right, stay tuned. Donnie and I will be back to wrap up this Cardinals Nest, the last Cardinals Nest of this season. We'll do that next here on HBC.
Paying your HBC bill has never been so easy. HBC's new online bill and pay system, SmartHub, allows you to receive electronic bills and make online check or credit card payments with ease. HBC SmartHub can be accessed on the computer or through your mobile devices with the app. Manage your payments, communicate with HBC customer care, and receive messages about your account with a touch of a button. HBC SmartHub. Start today at hbci.com/SmartHub.
NASCAR racing is about a whole lot more than just cars going around a track. It's about people who drive, people who engineer, people who plan, people who know how to put it all together. Meet the people who make the cars go round every week on Raceline. Watch Raceline here every week.
Elevate your HBC TV experience with the latest technology to hit your whole home entertainment system. Record up to 6 programs simultaneously and save up to 350 hours of your favorite shows. Pause a program you're watching in one room and pick right up where you left off in another. Video on demand, wireless set-top boxes and mobile device streaming, apps including Alexa, Netflix, YouTube, and more. Call 888-474-9995 to learn more or visit hbci.com/elevate today.
And we're back here to close out the last Cardinals Nest of 2017-2018. Dean Beckman alongside Donnie Netto. And Donnie, we heard from track and field on the show today. Baseball and softball, they're finally going. They got a lot of momentum now, and baseball is really off to a great conference start.
Yeah, they're playing very well right now as we tape this. They're 5-1 in the conference play. Hard to believe they've only got 6 games in so far, but they've got a ton of games to play over the next 2 weeks. And as we were talking off camera, the key right now to the baseball team is their pitching has been outstanding. They're getting great performances from every one of their starting pitchers. Ryan Wolf tossed a complete game his last game. Eli Morrison joined that group with a complete game against Carleton on Monday. So they're getting fantastic pitching. The offense is really coming to life. They had 13 runs in Game 2 against Carleton, a big 13-1 win. So they're playing very well, and looking forward to this playoff push as they really kind of ramp things up here in the next 2 weeks to get everything in, but playing extremely well. Softball team's got some work to do. They're still in the hunt. As baseball did, softball extended their playoff field to 6 teams rather than the traditional 4. The first games will be single elimination, and then when you get to the 4 teams, it'll be a double elimination. So they're right in the hunt of the playoff. But they wrap up their season here this weekend with 3 doubleheaders. Saturday they're home, Sunday they're on the road, and then Monday they're at home again, and that'll be the end of the regular season. So basically 6 games this weekend, and that'll be it for them. So hopefully they can continue to play very well. Tennis has wrapped up their seasons. The women still have an outside chance of making the MIC playoffs. They've completed their schedule. Now they've got to wait for other teams to finish to see where they fall, but they're still hanging on. I got a text from Coach Hallberg this morning saying, hey, don't count us out. We're there. Get a couple things that fall in their place. They'll be in the playoffs for the 2nd straight year. All
right, Donnie, just 30 seconds left. Hard to believe this is the last show of this year, right?
It's been a great year. We've had a lot of outstanding performances, a lot of fun things to talk about, some great guests that we've had on. And one of the things with Maria and Joe Seegers last year, our athletes I think they just love to be student athletes at St. Mary's, and like you said, smiles on their faces and just enjoying college life, and that's really what it's all about.
It shows, no question about that. That's going to do it for the Cardinals Nest. Thanks for watching both today and all season long. Stay tuned, and thanks so much for watching the Cardinals Nest here on HBC.